Hey, welcome back guys to this video. Today we're going to be talking about the basics of DaVinci Resolve and editing your videos in that program. And DaVinci Resolve is a program that I love using. It is free. It is free. It is free. I know a lot of churches are looking at doing more video and they're asking, what program should I use? In Adobe Premiere you have to subscribe, in this program you have to pay this much. But DaVinci Resolve you can download today from Blackmagic Design's website for free. There is a paid version, that is the one that I use, but there's some more advanced features that go into that. But the free version is incredibly powerful. It's an incredibly powerful editing software. Today we're just going to be going over the basics of editing in DaVinci Resolve to help you make a video. If you'd like for me to go more in depth to DaVinci Resolve and editing in general, feel free to comment below, let me know. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friends, click that like button, and let's get into it. So when I pull up DaVinci Resolve 16, I have my other projects here that I've put into a folder. You can organize projects by folder. I'm going to click on this guy, Untitled Project, or I could click New Project here. So let's go ahead and click on New Project, and I'm going to call this Travel, because as you'll see, the footage I'll be going through is from my iPhone, some footage I took when I traveled to Ethiopia. So when we open this up, we are in the cut panel of DaVinci Resolve, which I'm not going to go into today, but we're going to click on the edit panel. That's where we're going to spend most of our time. So I want to bring in my footage. How do I do that? Well, you can either come up here to File, Import Media, or use the shortcut CTRL+I. I'm really going to encourage you guys to learn the shortcuts of this program. They will save you a lot of time. We're going to select these clips here that I've got. I'll click Open, or I can click the Enter key. Boom. My footage is now in the program. So like I mentioned about shortcuts, you can come up here, DaVinci Resolve, keyboard customization. You can check out the shortcuts they have. You can set your own shortcuts. So look, there's a couple different ways that you can organize your clips. You could select all of them here and drag them into your timeline. Go through them here, cut out what you want. But that's just kind of messy to me. To keep it nice and clean and organized, I'm going to do it a different way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these clips into my preview monitor. So I click on this clip, pops up on my monitor here. And I can press spacebar, I can press this play button, or I can press the L key on my keyboard. And the reason I like the L key a lot is because, let me mute my computer real quick. If you press the L key and then you press it twice, it goes faster. And you press it again, and it's going to go faster. So if you have a really long clip, let's say you're editing through a sermon and you just want to grab a little chunk, instead of having to play it and wait and wait and wait, you can use that L key to skip through this really fast. Now, how do I get this clip down into my timeline? Well, I'm going to scrub through. Let's mark it in there with the I key on my keyboard. That's how I'm doing it. Scrub through and mark out right before that hand comes into frame down there. Oh, so now I have my in point here, I have my out point here, and I'm going to click on this clip and drag it into my timeline. Again, I'm going to zoom in either using this guy here or CTRL+. I like to be able to see what I got going on here. So my clip is in here now. Cool. If you'll notice these two little guys here, what these mean is that I can either drag just the video clip. I'm going to undo that with CTRL+Z, or the audio. So if I just want to bring in the footage, I don't need the audio for anything. I can just grab this, bring it in here. So your video clips will go in here, as you saw. Your audio will go down here. So there's a different channel for your video and your audio. And if you need to stack stuff for whatever reason, if you need a clip on top of another one, you can add more channels just by dragging this up, dragging it down. So I'm going to undo that real quick. Cool. And this is your playhead here. So you're going to preview your clips. When you click on them here, they're going to show up here. When you're watching the video that you're editing, when you're watching the video in your timeline, you're going to watch it here. So I can drag the playhead to play through. I can press spacebar, or again, I can use L. L, J, and K. J is going to go backwards, L is going to go forwards, K is going to stop it. So let's go to the end of this clip, and now let's look at this guy. Again, just dragging through. If you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to comment in that video, and I will be sure to address the questions that you have. I to mark in, O to mark out. I'm going to drag that clip right in there. So I'm going to zoom out of my timeline so I can see a little better. And let's go on to the next one. I think this one is a good, yeah. Here's the plane. Let's say I want to mark it just as that plane comes up. Mark it there for my endpoint. O, just before that dips down. O, right there. And drag it on in. Cool, cool, cool. So now we have 3 clips in here. We're starting to get a video. Cool. So it goes from that to this to that. So let's say I want to trim this down, but I've already got it in my timeline. How do I do that? Well, there's a couple different ways we can do that. You can click on this guy or the B button. And again, when you hover over these icons, you'll see the shortcut, that letter T right there. So I'm going to click on this or press B, come down here, and I can cut it anywhere in here. If there's a really precise moment where I want to cut it, like let's say I want to cut it just before we see those clouds, it's a lot easier to do it if you move your playhead to where you want to cut it, and the blade tool will snap right to it. Now that's because this guy's on. If I turn this off, if I turn the magnet off, it's not really going to stick to where the playhead is. It's just going to be kind of free for all. So I like having this magnet on. It's really helpful. So cool. How do I cut it? Well, we just use the blade tool there, or there's a shortcut, Control \. And again, you can set up your own custom shortcuts. So if you don't like Control \, you just want a single key to be your shortcut, you can set that up. So now I need to get back to the cursor here. I can click A, or I can click on this button here. And when I select this clip, I can click Backspace to get rid of it. Now what that left us with though is a gap. So it goes from this clip to the gap, then to this clip. So instead of clicking Backspace, what I can do is I can click Delete. And what that does is it's called a ripple delete. And the ripple delete is going to get rid of that gap. So it's going to get rid of the clip and the gap where that clip was. So now it flows seamlessly right into the next clip. But let's say I want to smooth out this transition a little bit. Well, I can come over here to video transitions. I can grab a cross dissolve, the more commonly used transition. And I want to make sure that it's covering both of those clips. That is right over the middle, because it'll go from this clip into the next one. And let's say that I want to end my video with this clip and I want to have a cross dissolve fade to black. I can click cross dissolve and put it at the end. Just like that. Let's say I want to rotate the clip, I want to zoom in. That can all be done in the inspector here. So if I want to zoom in, I can do that. If I want to reset it, click that. If I want to move my clip, I can do all that here, rotate it, lower the opacity. All that can be done right in here. There's also cropping, stabilization, lens correction. There's a lot of stuff we could get into. But let's say I want to put a title on here. I can go over to titles, click text is what I want to use. And I've got my title right there. So, and I can shorten it by grabbing on the handle. That's another way that you can cut too. You can bring your cursor over here and just drag it. And again, because that magnet's on, it's snapping right to that point. So if I want to edit my title, I can go back to the inspector and I can type in travel video. I can change my font. I can change the color of my font. There's all kinds of cool stuff in here you can do. You can add a drop shadow, stroke, background. So there's that. One thing I didn't mention too is that you can also adjust your audio in the inspector. So if you need to adjust your volume, you can do that here. There's a whole bunch of audio stuff you can do. Now, most important shortcut that I forgot to mention earlier is Control+S. That will save your video. I've had this happen to me. I've heard it happen to so many other people. You get working on your video, you get through it, the power goes out, or the program crashes. Something happens and you lose all of your progress because you forgot to press Control+S. So just get in the habit every couple of minutes, Control+S, save it. One of the things I love about DaVinci Resolve, probably the thing I love most about DaVinci Resolve, is the color grading. So I'm going to come over to the color panel. We're not going to get too deep into color grading, but again, if this is something that you'd like to see me address in the future, let me know in the comment section. What we are going to do in here is I'm going to show you how to do some quick color correction. Down in this corner, I can click through my clips here. Down in this corner, there's this A, and that's auto balance. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds. Did you see that? It's an auto color correction. This here, if I click on it, it's going to show you the before and the after to bypass the color grade. So before, after, before, after. So added some contrast in, adjusted that white balance for us. I can do that for these clips. And just some quick color correction. Cool deal. So now we have a video. We have 3 clips. We've cut them together. One fades into the other one. Pretty cool. So now we need to export it. So you can come over here to the deliver button, click on deliver, and you got a bunch of options here. If you're gonna upload this straight to YouTube, if you're gonna upload it straight to Vimeo, you have these options here with DaVinci's recommended settings for exporting. I'm gonna click on custom. Again, it's just gonna pick up on the frame rate of my timeline, the project size, all that. So make sure it's in single clip, not individual clips. If you click individual clips, it's gonna export each one of these individually, which isn't what we want. We want all 3 of these clips in one single video. So single clip, export audio is on. Cool. Now we're going to pick the location where we want to save it. And for now, I'll just save it here. But if you want to save it to your hard drive, wherever you want to go with it, you can do that. So now all we have to do, we can put in the file name, travel video, and click add to render queue, save to that location. And now we just click start render, and it's going to export everything in our timeline. Again, that's just a quick rundown of DaVinci Resolve, the basics of how to edit a video, because this tool is right at your disposal. You can download it from Blackmagic Design's website, download DaVinci Resolve, and you can start editing your videos that you're filming from home. If there's any questions you have about DaVinci Resolve, anything you'd like to see me address in the future, feel free to comment that below. And in the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, like that video, click that like button, and thanks so much for watching.